What do you advise your students to do if they're witnessing harassment?
In my class, I feel like we have had an opportunity to have a foundation of the choice point skills, which we can use in any harassment situation. So when students see harassment, depending on their comfort level and depending on the safety issues, I would recommend that students could confront the aggressor by saying something like, I feel uncomfortable with what you're saying, or this is not okay. I think that my students could also take the target away and just kindly walk over to the person and say, hey, or come on, let's go. I also think that talking to the target afterwards is a great way to let them know that you don't agree with what they saw. Emergency situations, that 911 might be the best way to handle the situation.
There's so many things that a bystander can do. Their role is really important in reducing the effects of harassment and bullying. We have actually worked with lots of students, and I'll share with you two strategies that students have given us. One is that they recommend using some type of humor to deflect attention away from the victim and to then move the victim out of that particular situation. Other students have told me who have been victims of bullying that another strategy that's particularly helpful it's checking in with the victim. If a student doesn't have the courage to be able to intervene in the moment, to be able to find the victim later on and tell them what they actually thought of that situation, to tell them that the bully was a jerk and didn't represent them, to make sure that they're okay and to check in with them. Those are things that have come from students. There's a wealth of national research on the topic and the role of bystanders. We're often in our trainings telling students, we're asking you to do something that many adults are uncomfortable with in speaking your truth to a bully in that moment, and we want you to take that seriously, to take your role as a bystander seriously, so that we can continue to have a positive school and community culture.
Well, they need to intervene. They can intervene right away by using assertive but nonviolent words. That's wrong, stop it, leave them alone. Or they can comfort the target afterward. Some people don't have enough guts to really stand up right away and help out, but a lot do. And then the third thing they can do is tell authority what they saw and heard. It is not tattling, it's reporting. So report this horrible behavior to authority, because most of the time it is so predatory and secretive, authority literally doesn't see it.
In Choice Point, we do have several strategies that we talk to kids about. One is if there is any way possible to just take the target away, just even make something up. Hey, your mom's in the office, and just see if they can get the target out of there. Another way is to confront the aggressor directly, approach the aggressor directly and just say, hey, that's not cool, or whatever seems appropriate at the time. That takes a certain level of courage, and there's some risk to that, so kids may not be comfortable doing that. Another thing is just get help as quickly as you can, and you can always, at every school that we visit, there are strategies for getting help anonymously and trying to keep your name out of it if you're fearful. There's always some kids are comfortable using humor or using other tactics to just try to deflect what's going on. Some kids have kind of jumped in the middle and made themselves the target, and then been more adept maybe at getting themselves out of the situation, and we've heard stories like that. One thing that is pervasive from the kids that we talk to in schools, we ask them for their stories of bullying, whether it's bystander, bully, or even being the target. And by and large, the main stories are of bystanders. And when bystanders share the stories, there's always a lot of guilt and shame in not doing something they wish they had done. So we also ask them to try to make the decision before they're faced with it. Maybe make the decision make the decision today for next time you see it, what are you going to do? And it doesn't mean you have to be specific, but just, are you going to step up and help, or are you not? And making that decision early on can help them make the decision when they're faced with it. And the reality is, it's not a matter of if they're going to be faced with being a bystander in a situation. It's probably, the reality is when they're going to be faced with it. Because that's the culture of our schools, unfortunately.